Lantern! Pick on someone your own size!
Hey everybody, it's Mark here, and yes, The Flash is back once more. That is right, guys. Tuesday nights is going to get a whole lot more exciting, because not only do we have The Flash again, we also have Legends of Tomorrow, and I really think that Legends is going to be a little harder to fit in videos, not only because, one, I'm behind right now, but two, it's going to also be on Tuesdays. But we'll figure it out, guys. We'll figure it out. But anyway, this episode was actually really great. I do enjoy this episode. This is episode 10, and it was really good. I felt like it was a really nice episode. I did not love the mid-season finale, so I'm glad that this episode was able to make it up to me. So let's break it down to some of my favorite parts. We have a lot of Easter eggs to talk about during the end of this video and the end of the episode. So let's get into the first part of the episode. So Barry, of course, is still dealing with having his future shown to him in the mid-season finale about Iris dying. She was murdered by S.T.A.R in the future. He's still kind of, shaken up about that. He's even having nightmares about it. Iris and Barry are living together. It's going to get a little bit crazy because their relationship is in full-fledged forward, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know the expression you want to use for it, but the whole, huge relationship thing is happening. They've been moving in together. The only thing I can think that would make it worse is that if she died, is that if she would die pregnant. That's the only thing that can make it worse. But yes, Barry is upset about losing Iris, and I understand that. So he kind of keeps it to himself in the first half of the episode, which I think was nice. One thing I didn't like is the whole Wally versus Barry. I did not like that because we've seen a little bit of that before, in this season, prior to Wally getting his powers, and I think that was kind of... It was just a lot to deal with and a lot to handle, so it was kind of weird for me to see that this was kind of continuing as Wally's Kid Flash. But Barry was upset about him because he was upset about Plunder. Plunder was the villain of the episode. Barry didn't want to catch Plunder because it would change the timeline, which we'll talk about in a second. We'll talk about that. But I did like the humor in this episode. I thought the humor was actually really on point, especially the HR humor, because I think HR was really cool to have, to make fun of in this episode because of the Flash Museum. Not the Flash Museum. The S.T.A.R Labs Museum. Sorry, think about the comics, not the show. Well, technically the show because of the Season 1 Easter egg. But anyway, the S.T.A.R Labs Museum, I thought that was really funny. I really like the set that they've also had for the S.T.A.R Labs Museum as well. And I think that one of the predictions, or one of the headlines anyway, from the future was that the S.T.A.R Labs Museum closes. They needed to stay open because it would be bad for HR and something else would happen. So it's going to be really funny to see what other humor they can have for the S.T.A.R Labs Museum. So I'm excited for that as well. But Plunder was in this episode, and I thought that was really cool. Originally, since I couldn't remember exactly who the heck Plunder was, I had thought that he was from Flashpoint, and I was like, wait a minute, no he's not, right? And that's what leads us to the headlines, when Barry goes back to the future. So there's a lot of them. My favorite, of course, is the Killer Frost Daniel Panabaker one. Kaylin even goes to Dr. Alchemy, Julian, to get her powers taken away, which was also a really cool thing to do in the episode, because I feel like it keeps snowballing the situation. Something that we'll see these headlines unfold throughout all the episodes, but I think we'll even get more speculation. The weird thing about it is I'm really shocked that none of them were like, oh, a gorilla attack, it's gonna be a gorilla garage. I'm really surprised that none of them really kind of threw out these ideas, oh, Music Meister, who's that? It was just really low key. So that was one thing I thought was really weird, but it worked. It worked with the episode though, because I feel like there's plenty of time throughout the other episodes that will help us unfold and that will help them suspect what's going on for each headline that's going to be coming. And I like all of them. I think that all of them were so they were obvious without actually being too obvious. So I think that it's really it's kind of like a chunk here and there of everything that we need. They signed off on the whole Plunder thing. Barry ends up having Wally go out into the field and capture Plunder from Wally West climbing up to fame. Wally's arc was pretty much using him to help change Iris's future and Iris's fate. They even give an Easter egg to Keystone City, where one of the officers, I can't remember his name, he's a big big deal actor that they had last season, a few episodes back too. They threw out Keystone City. He was like, send him to Keystone, send Wally to or send Kid Flash to Keystone. We don't need him here. We already have a Flash. So I thought that was also a really interesting Easter egg too. But Music Meister was teased as an Easter egg. Music Meister is coming. So they're going to have this big musical episode, and Supergirl is going to cross over. So Melissa Benoist and Grant Gustin are both going to be in an episode together. Music Meister is going to be the villain, and they're going to be singing. It's going to be their musical episode. I think that's great because both Melissa and Grant were on Glee, and one of the actors who knew both of them from Glee is actually going to be playing Music Meister. So I think it's going to be a really fun episode, because I think that the last time we had music on The Flash was when Caitlin and Barry were on karaoke, and that was like one of my favorite episodes of season 1. Now, Caitlin, we didn't get an Easter egg. We got an Easter egg that Caitlin's going to become Killer Frost once more. When she was noticing that her bracelets were not charging properly, her eyes turned blue or gray or whatever you want to call them. So just imagine if she didn't have any protection at all, she would probably be full-blown Killer Frost. She'd probably be Killer Frost right now, and I think that's really great because I love when she's Killer Frost. Although, like I said in the past in one of my other reviews, she does need to work on, Danielle Panabaker needs to work on playing Killer Frost a little bit more, and what better way to do that than become Killer Frost, right? And one of the headlines said, Killer Frost still at large. So between this point and another episode, or that episode, probably the season finale, she will be Killer Frost. And I don't think they're going to avoid that anytime soon. Now, Gorilla Grodd is also teased. Gorilla Attack, the city recovers from Gorilla Attack. So they are filming a 2-parter Gorilla Grodd episode where they're going to be going to Gorilla City, big location in the comics. So Gorilla Grodd will be returning. We've seen, behind the scenes photos of Tom Felton and Grant Gustin filming together. So I thought that was really cool to see them kind of like teasing the Gorilla Grodd Gorilla City episodes. Again, it's going to be a 2-parter. So now that they've teased this, expect to get a few more, again, suspicion towards Gorilla Grodd. So last but not least, we have a character that shows up at the end of the episode, and she comes out of a portal, and she has a hologram of HR. Now, this character is Gypsy from the comics. She, too, has Vibe powers. She has Vibe's abilities. So that's why in the next episode, Cisco is going to be facing off with Gypsy. It's probably going to be another Golden Glider situation. He's probably going to flirt with her a little bit, which is understandable, because she's Gypsy, right? So we'll see more of that, too. But we got pretty much a little bit of everything. So what are you most excited for? What do you guys think of the episode? I think I'm most excited for not only Gorilla City, because that's a huge thing for the Flash, in general. But I'm also excited for Caitlin becoming Killer Frost. Hopefully, actual Killer Frost. Because I was so upset when they didn't make her actually Killer Frost, when they made her like Caitlin Frost, as the writers described. But what do you guys think of this episode? I thought, again, it was a really great episode. Barry did end up telling everybody by the end of the episode about Iris's fate. So we'll see what happens with that. But I will see you guys later for some more videos. Links up there to my other Flash videos. Links in there to my Twitter, Instagram, Vine, and vlog channel. And don't forget to subscribe. Bye-bye.